and welcome to episode 10 of the What Shara Made podcast. I can't believe we're already up to episode 10, and I absolutely love doing this podcast, and I really love all the connections that I've made with people that I never would have made otherwise. It's been really, really good. So I hope you've had a really good, peaceful, crafty week. Since the last episode, I've been really busy again, but not with knitting, just with general life stuff. So I haven't really got a lot of knitting done in the past week, but I've definitely been knitting every single day. I might start straight away into my whips. You might remember my exploration station from last week, and it's the exploration station pattern by Stephen West. It was a real Stephen West theme last week, but not so much this week. And I'm using a linen yarn, a fingering weight yarn from Yarn Stories, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes so you can check out the yarn as well, because it's really beautiful. It's going to be quite hard to show you because it's still in the needles, so I can't really spread it out, but you should get the idea. So I've done the short row section, and then I've done the brioche section, which I really enjoyed. Although I did make a couple of mistakes in there, but I managed to fix them. It wasn't too bad. And then I've done the slip stitch section, and I also made several mistakes in that section as well, but they're not very noticeable, so I just left them. And now I'm up to the stripy knit section, and so far I haven't made any mistakes in that section, so that's good. And I've just got a couple more rows to do in that section before I start the chevron lace edge, and I think that edge is going to take me a few days to do. It ends up having 700 something stitches at the end, and it has an I-cord bind off, and that always seems to take me forever to do, so it might be a few more days before this is finished and ready to wear. But I'm really enjoying it, and I'm quite pleased with the colours that I chose, even though they were just a random selection of things from the stash. I'm pretty happy with it, and it feels really nice already, but as I'm sure you already know with linen yarns, once you wash them and block them, they get so soft and beautiful. It has a beautiful drape to it that I'm really enjoying, so that'll be a really nice warm weather shawl, scarf, wrap. And it should be finished in the next few days, hopefully, fingers crossed. And I've got another work in progress that I started this morning, and this, you might remember me talking about an idea I had for some gloves. When I finished my Doodler shawl by Stephen West again, I had quite a bit of this yarn left over with loads of dog hair on it. Sorry, thanks Rosie. I had a lot of this yarn left over. It's a wool miser sock yarn, and it's really beautiful. I just love those colours so much. It's so gorgeous. And I had an idea in my head when I realised how much I had left over that I could make a pair of gloves with it, and then I had what I think is a pretty good idea for a pair of gloves. They're really simple, but they've just got that little bit of extra detail in them that makes them interesting, and I think they'd probably be a nice first glove pattern. If you've never knit gloves with fingers before, this could be a nice pattern, I think. So let me show you what I've got so far. I haven't gotten very far, I only started a little while ago. So this is, obviously this is the cuff, that bit will go around your wrist, and this here will be on the front, or on the back of your hand, not the front, the back. And they're only short, they've got a short cuff, it's only that long. I like my gloves, typically like my gloves with a short cuff. I know some people like them longer, so the cuff goes up their sleeve and there's no gap between the end of their sleeve, jacket sleeve, and their gloves, which is good if you live in a really cold climate, but I don't. And I tend to wear 3/4 length sleeves all year round, unless it's insanely freezing, which it isn't very often, then I might wear a full length sleeve. But other than that, I find them a bit annoying because I'm always using my hands, pretty busy person, and having long sleeves I just find annoying, and I don't really like the way they look on me either. Fine for everyone else, but I've only got short arms, and I don't know, I like 3/4 length sleeves. Anyway, so if I have a short glove and a 3/4 length sleeve, it sort of looks a bit nicer. I don't know, anyway, I like the look. But it's been no trouble to make the cuff on this longer, obviously. Just do a few more rows of rib before you start the little pattern section at the front there, and that's 2x1 rib there, and then it goes up just to make that little detail, and the rest of the glove will just be plain stockinette. So I'm doing the thumb gusset over here. It's a very simple, subtle gusset, nothing fancy. And once that's done, obviously I'll put the thumb stitches on a holder or on some waste yarn, and then keep working the palm of the hand, and then start doing the fingers. So I'll work on that a bit more tonight, I think. Really like it. That yarn is just so beautiful. It's actually coming up on the screen. The greens are a lot more prominent than they are in real life, but still beautiful. I'm really enjoying that. I'm really loving the way that this yarn is knitting up. That fabric is beautiful. Love it. So there. Oh, I've got one more whip, but I'm about to frog it, so I'll show you anyway. You might remember from a few episodes ago, I was knitting the Arbutus Cow by Jane Richmond. I don't know what's going on here, but it's all tangled. Anyway, it is looking like this so far. That there, that's how it's meant to be. It actually goes this way in real life. And then in a few more rows, you cast this tier off here, and then cast on a few more stitches and do more rows for a third tier. However, I'm not sure what's going on with this. I am following the pattern as instructed, but I'm not doing a very good job of it, and because it's not for me, it's for my local yarn store, I want it to look perfect. If it was just for me, I'd keep going and I wouldn't even bother about this, but I don't know what's going on with it, and it just looks horrible. Where I'm doing the short rows there, you can see it's really noticeable. I don't even know what that thing is. Who knows? And then there's a big hole there. Looks horrible. And on this side, looks dreadful as well. Same situation. That side's even worse. I don't even know what's going on there. It just looks so horrible. I've tried to look on Ravelry to see if other people are getting the same unpleasant side on their work, but I couldn't find any really detailed photos in any of the project pages of the sides, and that's possibly because the sides don't look very good, so no one's photographed them. I don't know. Or I'm misunderstanding the pattern and I'm doing something wrong, and that's resulting in those rubbish sides. Like, what am I doing there? I don't even know. So I'm just going to frog it, and I'm going to start again. If it looks like that on the second time, I'll just leave it. That must just be how it looks. So, yeah. The yarn is a Zilana. Hang on, I've got the tag here. Cowrie. Zilana Cowrie. You can see that. Ooh, it's a bit shiny. Sorry about that. Zilana Cowrie. Oh, I'm not doing a very good job at all of showing you that. And it's really nice. It's a beautiful wool silk possum blend, and it's super soft and has a gorgeous halo on it. I don't know if you can see that. It's not showing up quite as beautiful as it does in the actual knit fabric, but oh god, this is a nice yarn to work with. It's so pretty and I love that colour. It's beautiful. So that's my whip that's about to be frogged and hopefully started again with 100% more success. But I've got a finished object. Well, I haven't woven the ends in yet because I'm not really entirely sure how to weave in the ends on this project. You might remember my whip from last week, which was another brioche hat. It's the Glamo Rose pattern by Katrin Schubert? I'll find out and put a little note down here. Sorry. I thought I'd remember, so I didn't write it down. So here it is. I love it. And this one is a much better size than the other one I made that I showed you last week. And I used a DK weight yarn for that one that I made last week, and I used sports weight yarn, bordering on fingering weight yarn for this one, and it's come out a much better size, and you can sort of get an idea of how gorgeous that crown is going to look. And I'll show you in the other way. Look at it. Oh god, it's so pretty. Oh, I love it so much. You can see that beautiful crown. Oh, it's so lovely. So let me put it on for you. So that's what it looks like on. So you get a nice idea. That is just a perfect fit for me. I really like it. It's not slouchy, but it's also not like a little skull cap or anything. It's just right. I love it. Oh. And that yarn just works so beautifully with it. It looks alright around the other way too, with the grey as the main colour. So you can wear it either way. It's beautiful. I love it. But because it is reversible, fix my hair. Because it is reversible, I'm not entirely sure of the best way to weave in the ends, because you want it to look nice both ways, of course. I don't know, maybe I'll just have to have a bit of a play around with that to figure out the best way to hide the ends without leaving them exposed. I'm not sure. But the yarns that I've used here, the solid colour, the grey, is Charcoal Sports Weight Bendigo Classic. They're 5-ply / sports weight, and it's 100% wool with a bit of a crepe construction. It's really nice. And the coloured yarn is Drops Delight, and it's meant to be a fingering weight sock yarn, but it's a pretty fat one. I'd call it a sports weight yarn, and that's what I've done in this pattern. It's worked just fine. So that is that one. And I think I might enter this one into a knit along that Diane from the Suburban Stitcher podcast is having, and it's a rainbow along. I think that just qualifies for the rainbow lol. Hopefully I'll figure out a nice way to weave in those ends tonight. And I've got some old finished objects to show you, and I think it was last year, it might have been the year before actually, so it's been a while since I made these. I had an idea for a shawl pattern and I just started playing around, and I made the first one and it worked quite well. I liked the look of it, so I made a second one and I really liked that one, and I just never got around to writing the pattern down. I don't know why. And I think I should, because now, well, I should have written it down, because now I'd really like to make another one and I've got no idea what I did. So I'll have to reverse engineer my own design to try and figure out how I started it and what I did. So anyway, I'll show you. If you can see, it's triangle. There. And it's got this like an arrowhead cable down the centre, like that. It's pretty simple, but I really like it. I really like the look of it. I like that little arrowhead cable. It's pretty. And the yarn that I've used is from a sock blank that I dyed. And I really like it. Really like that yarn. So that's just 100 grams of sock yarn has made that shawl, and it's perfect for just wrapping around like that. I love it. That's how I wear it, just like that. And then I made another one using all the same, like a solid coloured yarn, sort of solid coloured yarn, you'll see what I mean. This one here. And this yarn here is, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this name properly, but Shapias was stonewashed. I'll put it down the bottom here because you won't even know what I'm saying because I'm mispronouncing it so badly. Sorry. So that's that one with the same arrowhead cable down the front. Love it. And this is a cotton blend yarn, and it's really nice to wear. I wear it in winter because it's still nice and warm, even though it's cotton. I love it. It's actually a lot more green, sort of the green of a, oh that looks a bit better, sort of the green of a green apple, Granny Smith apple. There it sort of gets a little washed out. But I really love this. So I think I should probably write that pattern up because it's a nice easy one, and you can just stop at any time when so you can just use up all your yarn, which I always like in a shawl design. And that's all I've got for whips and finished objects. I do have a little acquisition, and it's not one that I bought. It's better than that. I won it. So the lovely Andrea on the Wonderwall podcast was having a giveaway because she's reached 500 subscribers on YouTube. I believe that was the thing. So congratulations, that's a fantastic achievement. And she had a skein of Circus Tonic yarn to give away. It's coming up extremely purple on there, but it's a little more blue. But how pretty is it? It's just so beautiful. And the colourway is called Southern Fairy Wren, and they just happen to be one of my favourite birds. They're really cute. They're teeny tiny. They're probably, the body of them's probably only about that big, and then they have a little tail. So cute. And they make a really sweet little twittering sound, and they flit around my garden, and they're so pretty. I just love them. I could stand there and stare at them for hours if I didn't have stuff to do. And it's 100% Australian superwash merino, and it's 360 metres for 100 grams, and it is just so pretty. And my mum spied this skein, and she really liked it. So I think maybe I might have to knit her a little scarf or a shawl using this yarn, because I think she really likes it. So maybe I'll add that to her birthday present with her socks in the yarn that I've dyed as well. So thank you so much, Andrea and Circus Tonic Yarns. I was so excited when I won this. And speaking of the lovely Andrea from the Wonderful podcast, she also has an Etsy shop where she sells some pretty cool stuff. And that is where I've got the prize for the February prize for the year-long Stash Busting Craft Along that's running in my Ravelry group. And I'll put a link to the Ravelry group in the down bar here on YouTube so that you can find it easily. And you'll see the thread in there, and you should enter, because every month I'll give away a little prize, and I'm going to have some other giveaways throughout the year as well, with slightly more substantial prizes. But anyway, and some more about that later. I've got the February prize here, but I can't really show you what it looks like because Andrea does such a beautiful job with her wrapping that I didn't want to unwrap it and spoil it, because I think whoever wins this will enjoy doing the unwrapping. But you can see the really lovely wrapping that Andrea does. It's so sweet. And she's got a stitch marker on the front here that is a little apple, and also this extra wooden tag, nicely done with the knitting pattern there. And what's inside this little package is a set of stitch markers, and it's a limited edition set from the Wonderful Designs Etsy shop, and it's called Tea with the Queen. And I'm going to put a link to them in the show notes, and hopefully you'll then be able to see an image of them so you can see what they look like. But there's a little teapot and a little crown and a teacup and something else. I can't remember exactly what it is, but they're all beautiful. And I've already got a set of Wonderful Design stitch markers, and they're my favourites. I save them for my extra special projects, and I love them. Every time I get it back to the start of the round, I'm like, ooh, they're so cute. I've got one on my gloves, actually. Let me show you. It's a gorgeous little owl. That's on my gloves. So, I love that one. So, the lucky person who will be drawn using the random number generator in the last episode for February will be winning a set of gorgeous stitch markers. So keep entering, keep putting photos in the finished object thread of all your amazing stash finished objects so that you'll be in the running to win those. They're so pretty. Love them. And that's all I've got to say about all my whips and finished objects and the giveaway. Do you go to a knitting group or a craft group. Do you meet up with a bunch of friends to do that outside of the home somewhere? I've got two that I go to. One that is on every Thursday evening, but I don't get to every single one. With a really lovely bunch of women who are really clever, and it's so nice to see all the different projects going on and seeing them in real life, and we always have a really good laugh. And yesterday at last night's one, we had a little welcome back party for someone who'd been away for a little while, and people brought food and wine and everything, and one of the women made an amazing Guinness chocolate cake. Oh, it was so good. I was laying in bed last night just thinking about how good it was and wishing I'd brought an extra slice home, but I didn't. It was very good. And I have another knitting group that I go to that's once a month on a Saturday morning at a local cafe here, and it's a different group of women that I meet up with. Occasionally some of the women from this group go to the other group, but not very often. I seem to be the only regular mutual member of both. And the one that I go to on Saturday morning, so tomorrow morning, like I said, is at a local cafe, and they do pretty good food there, and we do that on the second Saturday of each month, and it's in the morning, so we usually have a late breakfast or brunch or an early lunch. And the menu changes pretty regularly there, so you can always get a good choice of things to have. And one of the women that goes to that knitting group, hello Anne, and I often go out for lunch afterwards as well to my favourite cafe in town, a different cafe, and we're going to do that tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to it. I feel like it's been forever since the last one, and I miss that interaction, that real life interaction, and getting to see everyone else's projects and hearing all their news from the past month, and it's really good. It's a really good day. It's one of my favourites. So that's what I'm up to with my knitting group. Tell me about your knitting groups. I'd love to know what everyone else does with theirs. I used to go to one that was on in the evenings at a bar when I lived closer into the city, but it's too far to go now, so I live out in the country. So I know lots of people do that sort of thing as well, which is good. Wherever I go for my knitting group, I like it to have good lighting so I can actually do stuff, and I always like to have a project that's reasonably mindless for knit night and knitting groups and knitting meetups, because you're always chatting and it's very easy to forget what you're up to and what you're doing. So the exploration station, particularly the point that I'm up to now on it, where it's just knit, and I don't have to worry about anything, has been perfect. So I'll probably save that until tomorrow morning for knitting group as well, so that I've got something simple to work on. But I will see you again. That's all. It's a nice short one today. I'll see you all again next week, hopefully with a few more finished objects and interesting things to talk about. So I hope you have a really nice, relaxing, crafty week ahead, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.